It's Monday night.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for
Greg here.
tuning in. Thank you, Greg, for being a champion and switching from Friday nights to Monday nights. So,
absolutely. Here we are.
I know. It's so exciting. So Monday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on the Manifest Network, also on YouTube, and we are on Twitch. We will be going live, and you don't know about this, but I signed some paperwork this week with Rumble. They only pick several, like they don't allow everyone on Rumble to go live. And they sent out an email to me asking me if I would be interested in trying to do this test run and have What the Frick Live go live on Rumble. So that's going to be coming up soon too. So yay, I'm excited. So anyway, we have a lot of people already tuning in. Selena, Laura, Cassie, thank you so much. I'll put some stuff up. We have a really great guest tonight we're going to get to shortly. But really quick, Greg, what is going on with you?
Well, just working on my book and Night at the Haunted Museum, and that's progressing well. And hopefully I should have a finished product fairly soon. And you know, trying to fit that in, of course, around a busy work schedule. But, you know, but it's all good. So that's really that. I haven't done any investigation work this week. I haven't been over to the cemetery, the Hollywood Forever this week or anything, but maybe I will again in a week or two. I think as we discussed a little bit last week, and maybe that stuff will come up here pretty soon, especially on my Instagram, and that is my conversations, and I do mean conversations with Estelle Getty and Judy Garland.
Is Joan Crawford buried there?
I don't think so. I'll check, but I don't think so.
See if she is. I don't know where she's buried. I don't know, but I'm a big Joan Crawford fan. So see if she's there. I was going to get my wired hanger. Speaking of Joan Crawford, Mommy Dearest, it's a movie I watch every Mother's Day. I grew up watching it and stuff, and actually was her, that character for Halloween this past year. No wired hangers. Did not. I made a post that I was going to get my wire hangers out as a trigger object and see if she'd come through Ghost Box. I didn't do that, but yeah, see if Joan Crawford's there.
I'll look for that. Well, I will tell you. I will give you a little sneak, just a little sneak of tidbit of Judy Garland, and that is when I asked her if she had a message for Liza. She said, "Love you."
Aww.
And then she said it louder. She said, "Love you."
Wow.
Yeah, pretty romantic.
It is.
That was pretty cool.
Ghost Inspector Greg, you need a YouTube page.
It's coming pretty quick here. I just, you know, there's so much time in the day, but yeah, I'm gonna put all that stuff on YouTube. Well,
really quickly, I hope everybody has had a wonderful Mother's Day weekend with your kids and everything, and your mothers and stuff. But I want to share a picture. I have a chat up too. Let me close that out. But this is my sweet Aunt Rita. She went to be with the Lord on Saturday morning. My mom, this is my son Jet. My mom's best friend was Rita, and she's having a very hard time. We all are. It was unexpected. So please continue to pray for my mom, especially, but pray for our whole family, her children, my cousins. They lost their father March the 1st, and now they've lost their mother a little over 2 months later. But Rita was a light. Yeah. Sorry.
It's okay.
I practiced this, by golly. She was a light to our family in every like celebratory event, birthdays, Thanksgiving, Mother's Day, New Year's, Cabbage. We all went to Rita's house. So please continue to pray for our family. This is very hard and unexpected, but not how we wanted to spend Mother's Day, but I hope everybody got to enjoy it, and just think of my family in the next couple of weeks as we plan to celebrate her life and things coming up. So,
and just the things that you had mentioned to me about her, I could tell that yes, she was a fantastic, wonderful, wonderful lady.
Oh, she was absolutely amazing person. So please Pray for my aunt. Well, anyway, we have a really great, amazing person coming on this evening, and I'm so excited because we talked a little bit before going live here. She is one of my go-to people. Like, this is a woman that I talk to on the daily that I highly respect with all my heart. She tells you how it is, but she's also highly gifted. She has some professional roles, and I'm not going to go into all of those. But she deals with a lot of, she has a degree in criminal justice, and she deals with a lot of unsolved crime or missing people. We're going to talk about that here shortly. She has been featured on Travel Channel and things, and she does a lot of investigations. She's been on tons of radio shows. She does readings and counseling, and I'm going to bring her on now. We're going to have Miss Cheryl Fletcher on. Hey, Cheryl Ann, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Now, I always start out every show this way. I don't go into too much details in introducing you because I want you to tell everybody about yourself and how you got started and what you're up to now.
Well, how I got started was at the age of 11. I had a near-death experience, and after that experience happened to me, it wasn't but a short time down the road where I became a person where I could see, I could hear things up to 3 miles away. I was able to vision, and that's proven, and I'm able to vision things that are up and coming for others, not so much myself. So the gift that I have received is not for me, obviously, is to help better mankind and help people, not myself. I've been this way for 47 years. I have gone through a lot to prove who I am, of course, being all over the internet, as well as many blog talk shows like you mentioned. I've been out there everywhere, United States. A lot of people know me for mainly the gallery reads, the readings, and the ghost hunting, which back in the day, that's where it all began, was dealing with ghosts every single day. It's nothing like it comes on here and there. No, I'm looking at them all the time. Now, when I accelerated into my later years in life, I decided, I didn't care how old I was, but because of crime and justice, and making things right for people, I decided to go into college at a later age in the 50s, late 50s, to get my degree in criminal justice. Now, when I chose to do that, I had already done crime cases. I've been able to solve a few murder situations here in Nebraska, as well as abroad, over the internet, helping with police and that nature. I chose a specific location to do a ghost hunt, which landed me on the Travel Channel. I did not contact them. They actually were doing 50 states of the most terrifying locations in America, and our episode, the things that I sent to them, it was chose by them because it was so fascinating. Well, after that happened, then I accelerated in my criminal justice degree, working with cold case work, currently writing a book on schizophrenia versus the afterlife, which
That's interesting.
I have medical cases proving that Big Pharma would not like me too well once my book comes out. So I'm doing that. I'm a lyrics writer. I write music, I write the lyrics, and then I've had a couple on iTunes from various artists, one here in the United States and one abroad, which is in Lagos area, which is a very known rapper, very good, very well-known rapper. So I write music for all genre. And, I'm just everywhere with what I do, and I'm contracted out through several paranormal teams to go in and prove beyond a shadow of a doubt the afterlife, kind of like head of team is what I do. That's me.
That's awesome. You do a little bit of everything, so you are a busy lady.
Yeah. My name should have been Jackie of all trades.
I agree with that. Greg, do you have any kind of follow-up or anything that you'd like to ask Cheryl before we get into the show majorly?
Yeah.
Okay.
Although it might be kind of on the serious side. But
It's okay. We like serious.
when
I do.
when you were when you had your unfortunate accident when you were 11 years old, what was your first paranormal or enlightened experience as a child?
Yeah. Okay. So January 23rd, on the morning at 1:23 in the morning, I had pre-warned my mom that before that time happened, that I saw my brother Patrick in a coffin. And I was laying in my bed and I was playing Barbies before bedtime. And my mom, I went and told her, I said, Pat's gonna die tonight. And she looked at me like, you're nuts. Go back to bed. Just, scary thoughts. Are you dreaming? Blah, blah, blah. Well, unfortunately, at 1:23 in the morning, the police knocked on my mom's door and she opened the door to a whole lot of flashlights, which were all over the house. And they came in and said, are you Leona Elliott? And my mom said, yes. They said that we need you to sit down. We need a family together. They set us all down, and that was 8 children, then 7 lacking Pat. Pat had committed suicide at the Lincoln Cornhusker Hotel, the old one. On the 13th floor, he had hung himself. That's when it began.
Yeah.
The visions, the prior vision of what I could foresee ahead. So unfortunately, it was my own family member.
It was unfortunately a terrible way to start.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah.
Gosh, well, I'm sorry about that. I did want to mention something. And this is what's interesting, as you mentioned the number 23, and I wanted to point out and let you know that throughout my story over the last I guess now about 4 years, the numbers 23 and 32 are very, very prevalent in my story. The numbers have come up uncoincidentally. I mean, I can't call it a coincidence. Dozens of times, and hotel rooms, plane flights, days that my father died, days that my son was born. So there's something about those two numbers, and anyway, so it was very interesting for me to hear you mention that number, because it was very it's a very strong number in that event.
I can explain to you, Greg, why that happens. Over the course of time, my numbers have always been 3, 33, 11, 16, and 42, and also 23 is in there as well. When we have reoccurring numbers like that, it never fails, is telling you that you're on the right track for where you're supposed to be and what the events are that are going on in your life. It is like their identification code saying, well, you're telling you this is where you're meant to be. I'll give you an example. When I was traveling to New York, I was going there to serve Thanksgiving dinner to 15 soldiers that couldn't go home for 1 year when my son was stationed at Fort Drum. So when I got out the map, Mark and myself, my ex-husband and I, we looked, because we were going to see our son. We looked at the map, and I'll be, in Christ I tell you, every highway that we were to take were the numbers that I follow me all of my life. Now, the exit to Watertown, New York, where the base is, was exit 33. And that number follows me everywhere. And every time we would get gasoline, it would be one of the numbers to either fill up or top off or whatever else. It was always one of those numbers. So I had learned within that I'm obviously on track. And that's been going on for years. So there's my explanation.
Yeah, that's interesting. I did hear that 2 plus 3 is 5, 3 plus 2 is 5, and it almost represents a good and an evil in a sense out there, and I'm coming down through the middle of that, and I don't know, but
biblically speaking, because I come from the Christian point of view, 5 means grace.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a grace, in my opinion, underlying. It's a good thing. I think that. I think those numbers. Yeah,
that's a great thing.
grace and mercy is always a good thing. Doesn't matter what number it is. What was it, Cheryl?
I said amen. When it comes to the number factors, like for an example, like if something wasn't, I didn't feel comfortable and something was either going to pull me into a reading where somebody was going to need my assistance for whatever the case may be, one of the numbers, like you said, how they add up to not always be so great. Something that kind of event is not so great during that numbered time. You're on track because you're supposed to experience that and you're supposed to take it in and embrace that because you're going to learn from it.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, I already have.
Yeah.
Big deal.
I believe numbers is a huge role. We've had a numerology lady on our show too, but birthdays and the time you're born, all that stuff is super important. And I think you're destined for that time. And those numbers, is those numbers in your birth charts? Like
in mine?
Yeah. Or Greg,
yeah.
I don't know if you've done a birth chart to see if those numbers are in your birth chart that you see all the time. That'd be interesting.
Huh.
And if anybody else sees some numbers, throw them out here. What you see all the time, we'll see if Cheryl knows anything about it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So
there's always the old 11-11, right?
Oh yeah, 1-1-1-1. That's open. Yeah. That's an open door. Open 1-1.
And it just happens a lot. And I think there's something that's something that happens subconsciously, I believe. Is that people get trained and they get trained to look down, shoot, it's 11-11. And I think that's where it comes from. But it's still kind of fun, I have to say.
I see 333 all the time is my number, which I hardly, Cheryl, but I hardly ever hear anybody say 333. It's usually 1-1-1, 10-10, 12-12. What else do I see? 4-4-4. People say, but I see 3-3-3. Oh, here's Cassie just met 4-4-4 like that. But I hardly ever see anybody that says I see 3-3-3 all the time.
I wake up at 3-3-3 in the morning a lot.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, Cassie also sees 3-3-3 too. By the way, Cassie is a winner of a contest that we have that I'm going to be announcing later on this month with a guest. She won a T-shirt. So
I didn't win.
No, you didn't win. Yeah. So Max is on. Hey Max. So Selena too, she's a faithful viewer and she shares out our show. So thank you so much, Selena. 13-33-53 is her number she sees. Do you break these numbers down? How do you feel about that, Cheryl?
What do you mean? Break them down like 5 + 1?
Yeah, like break it down to a single number.
Yeah. Well, what I have done with my own, being born July 16th, it was 7/16, and then the year that I was born is kind of ironic because when I added them up, I was like, are you kidding me? It had an effect on me because, well, that number does appear every now and again. It's like, hello, are you listening in, Cheryl?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I've heard that you need to break down the numbers to a single digit number, which 333 is, 9. That's still a single digit. But I've heard, I don't know how true that is or if you need to do that, but
I don't play into commercialized anything. I don't, because my gift is totally natural and I know where it came from. So when it comes to commercial ideas and commercial this, that, and the other thing, I just I don't really read into all that. I stay away from it because of who I am. I just don't need it, I guess.
Yeah, see, Max says, I used to see 11 past the hours, 11, 9, and 4 a lot. So,
Yeah.
and Selena says, I'll have to break mine down and see. So yeah, numerology is super like, and what's fun about that too, though, once you start breaking it down, do you ever do celebrity numbers?
Do I?
Yeah, like see when their birth date is, if you could get their time too, but and like break down their numbers to see what
I have on my own, you know, just kind of like
that needs to be a book, honestly. Celebrity numerology, and get all these, like Greg, what you're talking about tonight, and we're hopefully maybe Cheryl Ann will be able to tap in to do some remote viewing here in a little bit, but make a book of celebrity numerology.
Yeah.
And just see what they are. I don't know if you get in trouble for that.
Would be so cool.
I know, that'd be fun. So, Greg, I'm sorry I talked there for a moment. I got excited about some things, but Greg, any follow-ups?
Well, as far as the to wrap up the whole numbers thing, I think there is a lot of excitement to that stuff. You know, just stuff that just can't be coincidence to it, and I think that's what makes numerology so amazing. Really, I'm not involved in that, but I have a healthy respect. But going back to you, Cheryl. You've done a lot of cold case work, on unsolved crimes. Can you tell us a little something about what you would say are your most compelling cases that you've dealt with? Just whether heart-wrenching or just amazing supernatural things that occurred. Just what can you tell us about what stands out the most to you in that regard?
I would have to say the case I just recently, well, not just recently, 2 years ago, I did work, and ironically, it was crazy because the woman that had gone up missing was up on TV, and they were looking for her, and she had disappeared for like 3 days, and you know, of course, family were very concerned, and I started reading into it, and she was from the Beatrice, Nebraska area. And when I looked deep into her picture, which I can read from pictures very clearly, I could tell not only who abducted her, which was a sex trafficking ring out of Omaha, Nebraska, based out of Kansas City, that I went and got on my vehicle, which I do this kind of stuff. And I went down to Beatrice and I confronted the police about it. And I told them what I could see, which was there were 2 people involved, a man and a woman, described them, what they look like. I even said, this is the vehicle that they'll be driving when you, find them. And I said, it has everything to do with antiques, trade sell, money, drugs, and criminal activity. But when I approached the police department down there, they were like, oh God, we hope you're wrong. I said, well, I'm not wrong. And I said, and when you find her, she is not going to be a whole body. They were like, oh God, oh God, don't tell us this. And I said, the truth of the matter is she's not going to be whole. They will find her body in different locations. And in fact, not only did that come true, but after telling them, they were so concerned that after the whole incident, and they did find her various places throughout part of Nebraska area, Beatrice area, Nebraska. It was so compelling that, they did in fact call me back. And they said, we couldn't believe you were right. When I have incidences like that and criminal cases like that, I go to the trial, or I stay very close to it. I go to the funeral services because I have to. That's my closure. And I stay close to the family. There was a cousin to the family that kept me abreast to everything that was going on when I couldn't view in, like over the TV or talk to somebody about it. It's cases like that that literally rock my world. I can't even sometimes believe my own visions. And when I see from far away, it's so completely detailed. It's just unbelievable. I have actually drawn what I've seen to be accurate for police.
So you draw it out like a remote viewing where they used to give
Right.
the people back in the day, they'd give them a description of a place or show, but then they only got to see something really quickly, and then they had to draw out what they saw eventually.
Right. Well, what happens is when I have to draw it out, I will go ahead and put it down on paper, and then I'll deliver it by fax, or I'll hand deliver it so that the people they can get firsthand look at it, and then they'll take it to like a profiling situation, and of course that's usually 100% accurate when they receive the information.
So real quick, I'm sorry, Greg, I do have a question.
No,
do
please.
you pick your cases, or how do you go about knowing which cases you want to talk about or investigate or research yourself?
Well, let me just tell you how it happens.
Okay.
I usually see something on TV, or someone comes to me and says, hey, there's this case. I need you to take a good look at it. And it could be a friend. It could be anybody. And sometimes it's emailed to me, and I'm plugging in my phone, by the way.
You lost your juice.
I don't know what happened down there. I was in the basement in my office area, and it just didn't really want a minute. For some
Red
reason,
college cup.
sometimes I tell you, technology is annoying. So anyway, it's either sent to me by an email, or like I said, I see it over TV. And one example about that was there was a case in Elba, Nebraska.
Okay.
And this guy had been missing 10 days and they couldn't find him. It was up in an area of like a man-made lake and a lot of trees. So they thought, when he came up missing, they thought, well, maybe he was out hunting and got shot, because it was hunting season. And the first second I saw her on TV, I was like, oh, no, this is no shooting. So I went up, I drove almost, 250 miles on my own. And I approached the police. I come up onto this man-made lake, and I was up on the top looking down, and I could see his entire face across the water. So I knew.
Wow.
I knew 150 flipping % he was in the water. Well, unfortunately, they were dragging not in the right area. Plus, they had drag dogs, and these drag dogs were not picking him up. And so, I crossed the line. They didn't know if it was a murder or a drowning or what, or a gunshot. But at this point in time, if it was my kid, I would want someone to break, the tape that's taped off as a murder, possible homicide. And I would want them to go look for my kid. So I didn't care. I even told Mark, my ex-husband at the time, I said, if they come up there to pick me up, I want to, make sure you give me a purple straitjacket, because that's my favorite color. Because they're not going to believe me. I said, Mark, they're not going to believe me. And he goes, no. He goes, do it anyway. I'll take care of you. Well, I get up on that hill, and I'm looking down, and I'm going, oh, my God, there's his face. It was clear across the water. So I'm looking at Mark going, go get him. Crazy. Go get them. And they looked up, and they were seeing me standing on this hill, and the one sheriff points at me like, you. And I'm like, oh, my God, I'm going to jail. So they came and got me after Mark told them what I could do. And I walked out onto this island, and the dog team was there along with 8 different sheriffs looking for this guy, and they couldn't find him. I said, well, let me just tell you where he is. And the guy that was on the dog team stood up and gave me the worst look. And I said, I'm sorry. I realize I am here like 8 days after you've been doing your job. But please, don't be mad at me for something I can help with. Because he didn't look very happy I was on the scene, because imagine, here you've been doing your work for like 10 days, 10 days, and somebody just appears on the scene, and all of a sudden they know exactly what you haven't found, trying to find it, and you put them on the spot. So I go up to the sheriff and I tell him everything that had actually happened. This guy had been on a canoe out in the middle of a man-made lake. Him and his wife had just had a new baby. Like, this baby wasn't even like a week old or 2 weeks or something. And she was out there arguing with him to not be on that lake because, for one, it was trespassing. Mm-hmm. And he was drinking, and he had his dog. Well, he got in this canoe, and he went out in the middle of the water, and the dog, of course, wanted to jump into the water. Well, when he did, the dog capsized the boat. Now get ready. He capsized the boat, and when the guy fell in, he was drunk. So when that canoe flipped, it clocked him in the forehead, gashed his head. Okay, now listen. And so he went down and he drowned, right? Well, when I told the police what had happened, they were like, where were you at this time? I said, at home. I can prove it. That's the one thing we go through.
Yeah.
Being automatically a suspect. That's hard, but I deal with that. So I told them what had happened. And a lot of the stuff that they never printed in the paper or anything else about him. Well, and then I told them to go further out, because where they were dragging, now get this, nobody knew this. I said, he's underneath the trees in the water. If you eradicate the trees, he'll come up on the south bank tomorrow morning. And they were like, what? I said, you're not in the right spot. I see his face. I know where he is. Well, guess what happened in church the next day? They did eradicate trees. It was a man-made lake. So they lifted the trees out. He folded up on the south bank the next day.
Wow.
Gash in his head?
Oh, big time.
Huh.
Big.
Do you keep the articles on these? Do you keep the articles and stuff? Do you make a journal of all this?
Yeah, we can journal them anytime you'd like. Yes. But the weirdest thing here is I told them, I said straight up, I said, that dog sat on the bank waiting for his owner to come up. And he had his sunglasses in his mouth. He was hanging on to them. And they were like shocked that I knew.
The sunglasses were still in the mouth?
Well, in his dog's mouth. The dog.
Oh, the dog. Okay.
Yeah.
So the dog had the sunglasses in his mouth, and I knew that. And then I said to them, because I could hear a couple of the officers in the back kind of giggling, like she's full of garbage. And I turned around and I looked at this one gentleman and I said, you. And he just looked at me. I go, you need to quit having an affair with her, because when they find out, you're going to get fired. And right in front of everybody, they both looked at each other like, how the hell did she know that?
That's why you're a prophet, Cheryl. It's more than a psychic, you're a prophet. And that's why all the people that have affairs are scared to come to church when there's a prophet in town. They're afraid they're going to call you out. And I do have a really serious question to ask you here in a moment about how, if somebody has this gift, how they can build upon it. But before this, Greg, what did I say what color I was going to go with tonight?
Purple.
Purple.
What did I say was my aunt's favorite color?
Purple.
Purple.
What's your favorite color, Greg?
Purple.
And Cheryl Ann? Purple.
We're all
I did not know that. I did not purple leaders. I did not know that at all.
I love grape candy. I love grape soda. I love grapes. I love
Crazy.
purple. Purple. So
Yeah. Purple it biblically means royalty also. The color means royalty. So but that's awesome and amazing.
So
and go ahead, Greg. No, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Okay.
You can.
Well, I was going to get a little bit silly.
That's okay. We like silly.
Gwen has a question for you.
Okay, Gwen has a question. Here we go.
There's Gwen up there. That's Gwen.
Uh-huh.
And Gwen has a question for you.
What's the question, Gwen?
Have you ever been asked to remote view or anything of that sort? Sasquatch, Bigfoot.
Have I ever been asked? No, but it is on my bucket list to go find. How about that?
All right. Okay. All right. Well, there you go, Gwen. Okay. Now be quiet up there. Anyway, that was. There's a lot of people who do remote view and try to and you hear a lot of different responses about it. As far as I think personally that if you were to remote view Sasquatch, the only thing you would hear is ugh, and that's about it, or some.
Do you do a squatch call, Greg?
Squatch call. That's the only thing you would hear.
Can you do a squatch call?
Yeah, but I'm not gonna.
Why not?
Come on, I gotta hear this.
Listen, I have interviewed all kinds of squatchers out there, and no one will do a squatch call yet.
We need to leave that one for Mr. Spinks there.
Spinks won't do it. I don't even know if he'll do it if I call him.
Call him up and tell him I want to hear this.
Oh, Lord, if I call him now.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Just come on, next squatcher I have come on, please do a squatch call. I just want to hear it one time. I can do a turkey call. If they can come on the show and do a squatch call, I'll do my turkey call. I can do one.
Well, I'm going to consider that. I'm going to take a week to dwell on that, and if I, might be interested in hearing that.
So, Cheryl, other than the paranormal or people passing, and Greg brought this up with Gwen and Sasquatch, are you getting into cryptids and all that kind of stuff, or all this alien? There's a lot of alien stuff coming out, and I'm getting more involved with the aliens, reptilians, and things. How do you feel about that?
100%. I am down with it. I'll give you a couple examples here that people can definitely walk away with. At approximately 2 years ago, I had a huge VIP party in my backyard in Garland, in Nebraska. That would include Jeff Mudgett. That would include Tommy Bull, who is he was the second unit director of Miami Vice. And I had a big event here in Lincoln for paranormal / movie industry making for the paranormal. And out in Garland, when I first moved into this house, I was actually kind of bent over a little bit to plug my phone in, and the room, the minute I was getting ready, I had not made connection yet, that the minute I was reaching down to plug into my phone, the entire room became what I describe like a ripple effect when you drop water into a pond. So you get the rippling effect. Well, the minute that happened, I felt 2 probes go down my back by my wing bones, straight down my back, across my buttocks, along down all the way past my and onto the back of my knees. And while that was going on, it felt very clear what it was. It was like round. In my head, I could see round silver balls both on each side. It was almost like a probe type thing. Well, when that happened, I became instantly sick. I also became very like I really wasn't there, like a dimensional feeling. But this property has had activity for a long time now. Going back to the party, Tommy Bull and myself sat out on the porch one night very late, and we watched a lot of the UFOs go over across Garland, Nebraska. There's quite a bit of activity in Nebraska.
I'm sure there is.
One night I found myself in the middle of a cornfield, standing there in my pajamas. Yeah, it was like really
sleepwalking when you woke up?
Yeah, I thought that's what it was, but I did film myself for 30 full days to make sure I didn't sleepwalk, and I don't. But I actually went from my bed into the cornfield, and God knows how I got there. But after that incident happened, it wasn't too long, like the night later, I believe, I went outside because I heard the cows out back making very strange noises. And I did a panoramic shot of the property in the back. And sure enough, right dead center, maybe less than 3 feet in front of me, was an alien standing right in front of me. And I actually took the picture. It scared the living hell out of me. I fell backwards and I ran back into the house because I had no idea if I was going to go driving in the sky.
The cornfield wasn't far from your home.
No, it was less than like maybe 25 feet out, and then there were all cows, and it was all, fenced and everything. But they had mutilation while I was living there for 2 years, twice, like once a year. So I do have a picture of an alien, and it has been looked at. Like, I've said this to everybody. I don't bank on everything I take as a photo. There's no way in heck I'm going to make sure somebody that knows, knowledgeable, creditable, look at my stuff, right? Yeah. And it has been looked at by two different people and one person who is a physicist. A good friend of mine, Thomas Foucault. Thomas Foucault. He wrote the book Behind the Veil. You ever?
I've heard of that. I think I've heard of that. Behind the Veil.
I'll send it to you. I have several copies.
Is he out in California?
Yes.
I think I know.
He's actually gone up against a pretty serious scientist and has been very credited in front of them to know physics, mathematics, and how things work in the world. And also he is very intuitive, very, very smart man.
I think I've heard of that. Book. I haven't read it or anything. But
Emily, if you want it, I'll send it to you.
But your alien picture, where can people see that? Do you have that posted anywhere?
It's on. I believe it's on Facebook. I know it's on my Instagram. But when we get off of here, I can put it. I'll
in
send
the comments or send it to me, and I'll post it up.
I'll send it to you, and and I'll send you an actual. The original and plus one that I manipulated to reduce it down so you can see it better. But the only thing I did was color change it from like regular color down to black and white so you could actually make it out. That's what I did. Wow.
Cheryl, I need to talk to you about a town called Helltown in Ohio after this show. If anybody's watching this knows about Helltown, go to Discovery Plus, look it up. And this is not that far from me, but in the 1970s, the president and stuff ripped out everybody, but there's been teenagers killed there. They said it's one of the cryptids creatures that live there. That's half man and half kind of looks like half antelope, or I don't know what they call it. I'm not into cryptids all that much, but I have been doing some research on that, and the place is crazy. And it's scary, and there's a lot of conspiracy behind it, but I'd be interested to talk to you about that.
Absolutely. Let's do it.
Yeah. So speaking of remote viewing and things, I know, Greg, we couldn't get the video up. You talk a little bit here about what we might be doing.
Okay. So we'll do a little bush fix. I'll just put the camera up and we'll play it.
No, hold on. Are you wanting to play that one, or do you want to play Johnny Ramone?
No, let's don't do Johnny Ramone.
Okay.
Let's do Estelle Getty. This is a world.
The mobster wife?
No, the one from Golden Girls.
Oh, okay. I was thinking. Hold on. I think Getty Museum. Getty. Okay, Estelle. Okay, I know who she is. Okay.
So. This is a world premiere in a bush fix fashion, okay? And what we will do is what we will do is we will play it. You should be able to hear it really well. I'll show the video. And then afterwards, Cheryl, maybe we could remote view and see what else she has to say.
Okay, perfect.
So this is me again using the Nanocom Plus by Katie Stafford. And you guys can go to Supernatural Inc. and order paranormal equipment from KD. And the stuff is amazing. And this specific device is amazing. And I would not sell this one for $1 million.
I'm trying to get his mini Ghost Box ink.
So here it goes. I'm going to try to line this up proper so everybody can kind of get a little bit of the ambiance. So I got to figure out where my camera is.
There you
are. Is that pretty good?
Yeah.
Okay, so let me turn it and start and get some volume. Oops, sorry.
Hi, Stella. My name is Ghost Inspector Gray. Nice to meet you, too. Estelle, I just want to hopefully you wouldn't mind me asking you a couple of questions. Right now, I'd like to. Your statement? Yes, if you'd like to make a statement. I'd just like to know. Was it? I imagine you just had a blast on the Golden Girls. Is that your fondest memory? Credits run.
I swear I heard Blanche run.
You reached a real high point in your career later in life. So that must have been really gratifying. No, I'm not jealous. Look, Estelle, just speak into this device. You're doing a good job. You have a very nice memorial here.
Impressive.
Putting a lot of rocks on top.
What's that whistling?
Birds.
Okay. Hi.
People are kissing your headstone, leaving lipstick marks too. Yeah.
Do you love me?
So
Did you hear that? It said, do you love me? Sorry.
Since your passing in 2008, do you have a message? Keep pushing. Is that what you said?
I thought it said no pressure.
Anything else you'd like to say to the people of the world? Celebrate.
Celebrate?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Celebrate life. I will take it like that. Well, Estelle, I appreciate you taking the time to talk with me. You were a lot of fun on this earth. I'm a celebrity ghost whisperer, ghost inspector.
Anyway, I don't somehow I don't know that was my head and everything was cut off, but it's not on the camera. So yeah, she said, keep pushing.
Oh, that's what I heard.
Yeah, and then she said, celebrate. And it was a fun little conversation. So I thought maybe Cheryl, now that we are all connected with her a little bit here, maybe you can reach out and see what she has to say.
Okay, first thing I want to tell you is that she died of a massive heart attack. She had an a blood clot in her left lung when she died. What she's trying to tell me to tell you is that when you came there, when you were doing your investigation on that, your batteries, what was wrong with your batteries? Because I'm seeing a lot of battery issues.
Well, they drain. But I had to charge them up for a little bit before I could go back out there.
Right. And she's telling me that you need to bring more batteries next time. And she also wants a martini, by the way. She did like martinis on the backside.
Dirty martini.
Yeah, a martini. And she also brings up a whole lot of rubber bands. Why, I don't know. But what has rubber bands got to do with one of you?
I got a bag of rubber bands in my kitchen that I use for backup to hold things together.
Okay, well,
I won't ever get rid of them. Like my son's like, why do you have the bag of rubber band? I promise I can go get it and show it to you all if you need me to. But
right, then if you feel they need to see that, then you really should, because I'm telling you straight up, she's talking about the rubber bands, and you're a collector of those, by the way. Also, too, when it comes to you, Greg, she tells to me that the last time you were there, were you in heavier clothing?
I was in a long sleeve shirt.
Yeah. And she's telling me next time don't wear so much. And you are supposed to call, you know how she was. She was very, how do I want to say, matter of fact, and right now here it is. She wants me to tell you that at one time, not too long ago, did you think about coloring your hair?
A while ago.
Yeah. She said you should have done it.
Well, thanks a lot.
She really wants you to, she wants you to reconsider coloring that hair. And also, too, something about you and blankets. And she's bringing up a lot of blankets. What's that?
Had a blanket there.
Okay, and she brings up that blanket, and that you next time you should bring more blankets and a pillow. She said, did you get really super tired and want to doze off? Because she's telling me you were kind of tired.
I was okay. There they are.
I accidentally picked them up and they dumped out. But here's all my rubber bands that I keep in my kitchen that I use, and I got to always have a bag of rubber bands.
I mean, shoot, Cheryl, I've had a 38-year career in engineering, and I'm tired. It's been a lot.
Yeah, I hear you. But she said at the time you were pretty tired, and that even though it was exciting for you, that she wished you could have stayed longer. Did you actually say something out loud about you had to, like, not before you just played that? Just making myself clear. Did you actually say things to her that you couldn't stay there very long for some reason?
No, but I do a lot of bouncing around, and I think, and this is interesting because Johnny Ramone, who I first had my first interaction with over there, has shown almost signs of being jealous that I haven't gone back, and I think they all, I don't spend a lot of time, so I believe that they all want me to come back and communicate with them some more. So I am going to continue to make those rounds, and I'll add others too. And I'll have as many conversations as I can. I will certainly go back over to Estelle for sure. She was pleasant to talk to.
She was really pissed off, excuse my French, but she was really mad about the fact that her false teeth, when they went to bury her, that, I know, right? That she was mad because they weren't the right one.
Where did she keep the others?
Well, she had actually, before she passed away, she had them in a little container next to her on her sink. And they gave the mortician the wrong set. It was an older set that she had.
Oh my gosh, she's had the wrong teeth this whole time.
And so when they actually buried her, the only thing that she was upset over was the fact that her chin should have been higher up and braced better, but she was bad because the false teeth that were in her mouth that she was buried with were not correct. Well, somebody stole, and by the way, somebody stole a lot of her jewelry, and I believe it was, now mark my words, it was a lady named Judy. So write that down. She's talking about
Judy.
Garland.
Right.
I went to Judy Garland that day too. Darn it. Darn that Judy Garland.
Hold on. Write that down,
What?
Greg. So the next time you go to her grave, you can ask about who stole her jewelry.
Judy Garland.
That's too weird that you said that, Judy Garland. But anyway, she talks about Judy by the name. Her name was Judy, and that she's upset about some of her jewelry being stolen.
Yeah.
She had a cat. She had a cat. Oh my God, that cat. That cat was, her attitude was so much like Acella's. Like Miss Diva. Matter of fact, grumpy. You know, she was just like,
Write this stuff down, Greg, so you can look this up, and then
I
we
got
can
it
do
down.
it live. We can do it live from the grave.
I'm going to go over to
God.
Judy. I'm going to Judy
And
Garland. I'm telling her. I'm
We
going
can
to
bring
Judy
Cheryl
Garland.
Ann on. We can do a live investigation from these graves and bring
Right.
Cheryl Ann on.
Listen,
Right.
I'm going to Judy Garland. I'm telling her to give Miss Getty her jewelry back.
damn
Right-
it. That's
right
so
away,
wrong.
That is so wrong, Judy.
Jeez.
Dirty Judy. That should be a show.
Hey,
But
Judy Garland.
I want to say this, and we are going to go a little bit over. I hope that's okay with you, Cheryl Ann, because we have mentioned him a few times, and I go along with my gut instinct. But Johnny Ramone, we've played this video before. Greg, you said not to do it, but you've mentioned him. I've mentioned him. I think that we should play it and just see what she picks up on it, because it's one of the best videos I've watched of getting direct responses at a grave site, and also music's played. So to have music come through so quickly and for so long on a ghost box that flips through the channels so much, to me, it's rare. I've only had that happen to me once in my entire life.
And
Go ahead, Greg.
let me elaborate, because these are guitar licks. It's not like not guitar play for a song. These are guitar licks, like we're sitting in a studio and he's just messing around a little bit. So
Like
you can pull that up.
Yeah, I have it right here.
Hopefully
Listen to this. I love it. And I mean, if you need me to stop before the 2 minutes and 13 seconds, just say stop. But I'd like to play the whole thing because it's awesome. Plus, also, Greg is using Katie Stafford's what's it called? The Nanocom. The Nanocom, which we're gonna have Katie on our show next Monday. Katie's wife. So yeah. So here we go. Let's play this. If you can't hear it, make a comment or tell me, and I can change it. But here we go. You should be able to hear it.
Wow, sound like a guitar. Johnny Ramone.
Can you turn it up?
Is that your guitar?
I think that's as loud as it goes. Yeah.
What do you got to say, Johnny Ramone? Yeah? I have to listen closely to hear what you were saying there. Johnny Ramone. Yeah, play a guitar lick. Say some more, Johnny. Johnny Cummings, a.k.a. Johnny Ramone. It's a Nanocom by Supernatural Inc., Katie Stafford. Guitar lick.
How you doing?
Oh my gosh.
Crap. Yeah.
That was awesome.
Johnny Ramone, man, play some more music. You were great. Well, they did you justice with your headstone. It's amazing. There's a nice guitar lick. Rock and roll till the end.
That's birds.
Mm-hmm.
Some nice guitar licks right there. So,
But there we go, Johnny Ramone.
yeah,
That's awesome.
Wow.
I don't know if you could hear a lot of it, Cheryl, but lots of guitar licks, a rock vocal, answers to questions. It was really pretty remarkable. And at other locations, it's funny because Johnny Ramone, when I went to, for crying out, Faye Ray's site and talked to Faye. And in a lot of these situations, understand, they say their names.
Sure they do.
She says Faye. Burt Reynolds said Burt is. Judy Garland said Judy. They tell me who they are.
Well, their name is important to them.
Yeah. So when I was at Faye Ray, she said, "Where's Johnny?"
Huh?
And it led me to believe that Johnny Ramone is real active around that place.
Oh, yeah, he is. Yeah, he is. And in fact, at about a little after midnight, about 12:20-ish, he does walk quite a bit. Walk around there quite a bit. And he does stop at those grave sites, and he does kneel, and he's like looking at the gravestones. Let me just tell you too, one of those gravestones, and I'm seeing the Judy and Faye's. Something is wrong. The letterings weren't typeset right or something. That's what he's upset about.
Huh.
And there was supposed to have been another message that was on Faye's, that was supposed to have been on Faye's, that was not. Now, if you look that up, and if you go and do a little research, you're going to find that. But he's like really confused as to the reasons why the typeset that are on the gravestones are not regular. That is what is upsetting to him. And what?
I said interesting.
Yeah. And then on top of that, the guitaring that you talked about on there, that was truly kind of like a small rendition of things that he was doing, practicing chords, different chords. And he was learning. And in fact, on a different guitar at that time, it was not the same one that he normally always used. So it was like a new one, a new purchase. So, and then also too, when it comes to his sheet music, the way he wrote the notes and the way he wrote the music was like nobody else's. Was he left-handed?
I don't know.
I don't know. Look it up really quick. That should be something we can find out.
Yes.
Because he talks about his left hand always hurting. Like it ached, like arthritic in his wrist.
That could have been from the guitar play,
Right. And I'm just asking, wasn't he left-handed?
Yeah, I don't know.
Was Johnny Ramone left-handed? We'll see. Let's see if this comes up anywhere.
I'd like to see, yeah. Because he talks about his hand, that left hand hurting and aching quite a bit. As if, working a lot with that wrist. He had problems in his wrist. And also club fingers, by the way. Did he smoke?
I think
Probably.
He did.
Yeah, he did.
I'm not sure if he had a cigarette in his mouth in his.
Looks like he might have been both, right-handed and left-handed.
He was also dyslexic, and he could use both hands, but his left hand he used the most, and it hurt him the worst.
Let's see here. Just clicked on an article here to see if I can see. It looked like he might be both, right-handed and left-handed, but 1965.
Well, next time I go there, I'm sticking a cigarette.
Are you gonna smoke a cigarette?
And they stick one in his mouth just in case he.
Or leave one down there next to him.
Light it.
Yeah, lay down. Lay down next to the grave and just, pretend like you're smoking. He'll talk to you about that. He'll even, in fact, guarantee he's going to ask you to blow smoke rings, because he did that quite a bit too when he was working out on the guitar and practicing. It was like a funny joke, like he would stick his hand through it while he was working, because he was highly intelligent, by the way.
I think so too.
And he was so geared on making sure things were perfect. He was like, to me, it feels like another Picasso, you know.
I don't know if anybody's watching this. If you find out what actual hand that Johnny Ramone used, please message us. Let us know because I keep seeing he's used left and right. He goes back and forth.
It like he favored though more of his left.
Yeah, probably.
But he did smoke rings a lot when he was writing music.
Well,
Did he play the guitar upside down by chance? Because it sounds like they didn't use the left-handed guitar that much back in that day.
Right. It had been flipped. It had been flipped around or something because the left hand was always used to strum.
It says here he uses his Fender and he held it upside down to accommodate left-handed playing.
Holy guacamole!
That's what it says in this article about Johnny Ramone.
Told you. I'm telling you, that man was gifted because left-handed, very intelligent, smoked a lot, and he loved his jack. He loved his jack.
Well, I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna blow some smoke rings, but they're gonna be more like what Gandalf the Grey blew. You know, it would be in a form of like a dragon or something. It'll be a shape of something when I.
Selena said his left hand was always twisted, so I didn't even see that till after I read this article. So
thank you.
There he goes. Thank you. And then Laura says I see that he had a left-handed guitar. I did see an article about that. He had a left-handed. Yeah. So wow, Cheryl and Greg needs to go back. We need to do a live investigation and bring Cheryl on and do this virtual.
Yeah.
And then Cheryl, what I need to do is come out west, pick you up, and then we go to California and meet up with Greg and do it in person.
Yeah, absolutely right.
Let's do that roundabout trip, you know.
Wow.
You're all
awesome. Spot on. Cheryl, you are so gifted. I love you. Thank you for being a great friend. Really.
You know what?
Awesome.
You know what, Emily? There's a reason why people connect. You know that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I'm thankful that we connected and you came into my life, and I respect you highly, and thank you for all your input and your gifts and your callings and everything this evening and talking about all this.
Yeah.
But I need to tell you one thing about Jet. She wanted me to tell you when you were talking in the beginning to watch his right ankle. Is he clutching on his ankles?
He's been complaining about his right leg and his right foot all week.
She's telling me to tell you that there is like some kind of a, like I want to say like a, not a fracture, it's kind of like a hairline problem in there, like a hairline fracture. Okay. And he has sprained that quite a bit. So you really need to keep an eye on that. Bone spurs is what she tells me.
I thought maybe it was growth spurt because he's grown he is, I'm 5'9" and he's going to be in 5th grade. He wears my size shoe, 8.5 already. Yeah. And he's up past my shoulder.
She's telling me to make sure you watch over that right ankle.
Maybe I should, if he's still complaining about it when I get him back, because he's with his father next week. If he's still complaining about it, I'll get him in to see a doctor.
Please do.
Yeah. I promise you, he keeps saying that his leg feels heavy and weak and his foot hurts. And he's asked me to rub his foot too several times. It's his right leg.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it sounds like a shin splint type situation.
Yeah, thank you, Greg. That's
okay. Yeah. That could be it too. Because he just started running again and getting ready to hopefully start sports back up a lot here soon.
Thank you, Selena. Well, Cheryl, I would just like to say I'm very impressed. And it's been a thrill chatting with you. I have a great respect for people that do what you do. I have several that are friends of mine, and I, in all cases, I've seen things literally firsthand that that are just literally amazing, which have forced me to say, hey, folks like you are very much legitimate, and again, I have a deep respect. So thank you so much.
Hey, Greg, it was
Thanks.
finally good to see you and get to visit with you one-on-one like this. This is amazing. I absolutely love you. I love you in my heart. Every time you're up here with Emily, I'm just like,
Greg needs to start signing autographs with Gwen on it. Yeah.
And Gwen,
with Gwen. But Cheryl, thank you so much for being a guest on tonight. Definitely, you're going to be coming back on in the future, and hopefully, we can do something live with Greg at that graveyard. That would be awesome and amazing. So, thank you, everybody. Thank you for everyone for tuning in for our first Monday Night Live here at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Manifest Network. We're going to be back here next week at 8 p.m. with Katie Stafford, Katie's wife, the one, I say the one that really runs the show is what I say. But she has, May is our metaphysical psychic month that I have every year. So she has some gifts and callings. Plus she's an amazing historian. People don't know. She has a wonderful background. So we'll be back here next week at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here on the Manifest Network. Thank you all for tuning in. We'll see you next week. Have a great week.
Everybody.
Bye. Thank you.